Have you ever wished to be someone unshakable? Someone who doesn't crumble under criticism, rejection, loss, or betrayal? Someone who moves through chaos with calm, who feels deeply yet remains centered? Maybe you've dreamed of the day when you'll finally stop feeling that quiet ache inside. The kind that lingers even when you smile. That hollow weight you hide behind laughter, confidence, or strength. You've spent so much energy holding yourself together, trying to please everyone, keeping up the image of someone who always has it under control. But inside, you're tired. Not weak, just exhausted from the constant performance of being strong. And here's the truth no one ever told you. As long as you keep trying to avoid pain, it will control you. As long as you try to numb, to protect, to hide, you remain a hostage to everything that happens around you. This isn't weakness. It's the human condition. The difference between people isn't who suffers and who doesn't. It's who dares to stop pretending. Carl Jung once said, "We are not what happens to us, but what we choose to become." That is the doorway. Because true strength is not the absence of pain, it's the full awareness of who you are, even when you're bleeding. Part 1: The Mirror of Pain. You believe that what hurts you comes from the outside, from betrayal, rejection, harsh words, or abandonment. But the brutal truth is this: none of it really has the power to hurt you unless there's already an open wound inside you. What hurts is not the action itself. It's what that action awakens within you. It's the story you tell yourself about what it means. It's the old pain you never faced. The emptiness you disguise with confidence. The fear you hide behind perfectionism. That's why two people can go through the same storm, and one emerges calm while the other collapses. It's not what happens. It's where it hits you. And that's where the truth begins to sting. You suffer so much because deep down, you still believe you can control how the world treats you. You think that if you're good enough, kind enough, strong enough, no one will hurt you. But control is an illusion. And as long as you cling to it, you'll live in constant tension, predicting, protecting, performing. Do you want to stop suffering? Then stop trying to protect yourself from suffering. What you need isn't more control. What you need is more awareness. Freedom begins the moment you understand that everything coming from the outside only has power if it finds an echo within you. And this is where the real battlefield lies. Not in the world, but in the unconscious. Part 2: The Unconscious. The Hidden Master. What you do not see, do not understand, and do not face controls you. You believe you're making conscious choices, but most of what you feel and do comes from the unseen depths of your own psyche. Your reactions, your insecurities, your recurring pain, they are all echoes of something unhealed. Carl Jung said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate." Every time anger erupts without reason, every time sadness rises out of nowhere, every time you sabotage your own peace, it's not random. It's your unconscious trying to wake you up. But instead of listening, you suppress. You silence yourself, distract yourself, run from yourself. You think ignoring it will make it disappear. But the unconscious does not vanish when ignored. It grows roots. It builds patterns. It becomes the invisible architect of your suffering. Those toxic relationships that keep repeating, the emotional triggers you can't explain, the anxiety that shows up when everything seems fine, that's not bad luck. That's your shadow calling you to see it. If you truly want to be untouchable, you must stop running from what's inside you. Because as long as you remain a stranger to yourself, you will always be a puppet of your emotions. Part 3, Integration, the path to wholeness. Most people believe the only way to avoid being hurt is to shut down. They build walls, they wear masks. They say, "I don't care anymore." But inside, they're still bleeding. The problem isn't that they feel too much. It's that they don't understand what they feel or why. Jung once said, "Know all the theories, master all the techniques, but when you touch a human soul, be just another human soul. And that includes your own. The soul you keep hiding behind your strength is crying to be seen." Becoming emotionally strong has nothing to do with indifference. It's not about becoming cold or detached. It's about integration, bringing to light everything you've buried in the dark. You don't become untouchable by putting distance between yourself and the world. You become untouchable when you realize that nothing outside can harm what has already been embraced within. When you integrate your shadows, your fears, your flaws, you stop reacting and start responding. You stop being a puppet and become whole. This is what Jung called individuation, the process of becoming who you truly are. Not what others expect, not what you built to survive, but what emerges when the conscious and unconscious finally meet. Part 4, the sacredness of suffering. Since childhood, you were taught to avoid pain, that suffering means weakness, that crying is shameful. And so you learn to hide it, to silence it. But the more you run from suffering, the more it chases you. Ignored pain does not disappear. It only changes form. It becomes anxiety, apathy, addiction, restlessness, until one day it all collapses. Jung saw suffering as sacred. He said, "Depression is like a lady in black. If she appears, don't send her away. Invite her in. Offer her coffee. Listen to what she has to say. Because pain is not your enemy. It is a messenger, the language your soul uses to get your attention. Suffering only hurts so much because part of you is still fighting what life is trying to change. One part of you wants to grow. Another wants to stay safe. Pain is the friction between the two. Growth hurts. Letting go hurts. Facing yourself hurts. But it is within that pain that the seed of transformation lies. When everything in you falls apart, when the masks crumble and there's nothing left to protect, that's when truth begins. That's when pain becomes sacred. because it brings you face to face with the only thing that can set you free: yourself. Part 5. The Fire of Transformation. The journey of individuation is not comfortable. It doesn't flatter your ego. It dismantles it. It burns away everything false so that only the real remains. You begin to see that you are not your achievements, not your titles, not even your wounds. You are something deeper, the awareness behind it all. Individuation is the passage from surviving to living. It's the painful process of dissolving the persona, the mask you built to be accepted, and discovering the authentic self underneath. And yes, it feels like tearing off your own skin. Because it is. But once you pass through that fire, once you face your anger, your shame, your need for validation, and say, "I see you," you no longer control me. You become untouchable. Not because nothing affects you, but because nothing defines you anymore. True strength is not a shell, it's a center, an inner stillness that no storm can shake. Part 6. Consciousness as a shield. Here's the final truth. Nothing external can shield you from pain if you remain unconscious of what happens within you. As long as you resist, it persists. But what you accept transforms. You've spent your life resisting the fear of being not enough, the pain of rejection, the loneliness of not being seen. But now you know. Your protection doesn't come from avoidance. It comes from awareness. Because when you understand your wounds, the actions of others lose the power to define you. You still feel, but you no longer drown. You still hurt, but you no longer lose yourself. Those who live only on the surface get wounded by every wave. Those who dive deep find calm beneath the storm. And that's where you are headed, to the depths, where silence, clarity, and freedom live. Because when you finally live from that place of presence and integration, the world can no longer touch you where you have already embraced yourself. So if these words resonate with something within you, say it aloud. I choose awareness. Let that be your beginning. The beginning of a life not defined by fear, but illuminated by consciousness. This is not the end of your journey. It's the threshold. Keep going. Because real transformation doesn't happen in one realization. It happens when you walk through it, again and again, until awareness becomes your natural state. See you in the next step of your becoming.